Penguin Audio presents A Simple Government, 12 Things We Really Need from Washington, and a Trillion That We Don't. Written and read by Mike Huckabee. The easiest job in the world is to criticize and condemn the political figures who actually subject themselves to the torturous process of campaigning and governing. I've been on the receiving end, and as a talk show host for both radio and television, I've dished some out as well, although I've tried to do it honestly and even fairly. Some of the Bronx cheers that we send up to those in office are well-deserved, but most of the harshest critics offer their crusty curses without having the personal courage to ever put themselves on the ballot. While there are some absolute bums in this business, there are many very honorable people who seek office and serve faithfully for all the right reasons. It's been my distinct pleasure to work with many good and decent public servants who were Democrats, Republicans, and independents. Many served at extraordinary personal and financial sacrifice, and they gave up their privacy, schedules, and their leisure time to live a life of constant travel and time away from home and endure the pressures and pain of the political grind. To the many good people who do more than complain, but who commit, who do more than scream but serve, who do more than oppose but actually propose ideas, who do more than run from their statements by hiding under the cover of anonymous blogs and phone-ins to talk radio, and instead run directly into the flames of political candidacy, I dedicate this book. Without those willing to endure the process of our political system, our great republic wouldn't survive. God bless you. Introduction. A government big enough to give you everything you want is also big enough to take away everything you have. That's a quote from Barry Goldwater. Since Barack Obama was elected, plenty of books have been written criticizing his administration and accusing him of all sorts of things, from being a Marxist to lying about his citizenship to being a Muslim. But if you know me, or if you're familiar with my commentaries on TV and radio, you know that I don't like to make politics personal. That's because I was raised to believe in the golden rule. And I don't know about you, but I certainly don't like being called names or ridiculed. So I want to start out by saying that if you've come here looking for a personal attack on President Obama and those in Washington, you might want to head to another shelf in the bookstore. I don't doubt for a moment that Barack Obama loves our country and wants to make it better. In my political career, I've found that to be true more often than not about people who take a position different from me. Respect and civility go a long way in campaigns and governance. That being said, I've never been afraid to criticize a person when I think it's appropriate, especially when it comes to those who run our country. I believe that every American has a right and a responsibility to speak up when they're unhappy with the way that our government is run, and that's why I'm writing this book. Because as much as I respect President Obama as a human being, I can't help but think that just about everything he thinks is good for America is actually bad for our present and worse for our future. You're probably reading this book in February 2011, but thanks to the practical demands of publishing, I'm actually writing it in the fall of 2010. As I sit here, our country is mired in a crisis that has grown progressively, no pun intended, progressively worse since Obama entered the White House. Our national unemployment rate is stuck at around 10%. Our budget deficit is spiraling to unprecedented levels. We've adopted a federal health care system that promises to raise costs and worsen care, even though most Americans didn't want it in the first place. On top of all that, we face threats from abroad in the form of terrorism, illegal and out-of-control immigration, and 2 wars, though allegedly the war in Iraq is over, wars that we can't seem to win. Meanwhile, our image abroad is rapidly sinking to where it was during the Carter years, as we've turned our backs on some of our most trusted international allies like Israel in favor of diplomatic relations with enemies like Russia and Iran. We were promised better than this. The election of 2008 was supposed to signal the arrival of a post-partisan presidency. Happy days, joy to the world. Well, did that happen? Candidate Obama said that he would discover common ground between...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?